Hey guys, Tactics Talk here. Gonna start a series of videos called Malifaux Mondays. So, starting, well, it's actually Tuesday, but I'm going to be posting this as of Monday. I should have posted, so I'm a little bit behind on the start of the series, but I'm gonna be doing Malifaux Mondays, Warhammer Wednesdays, and yeah, just basically posting the best content I can possibly think that would be the most interesting to watch. So this video, I wanted to talk about about the 10 Thunders. So the 10 Thunders are pretty much the faction that I'm going to be playing. Keep in mind, I am still very much a new person in this hobby. I don't know much, so if I make mistakes and you're big into Malifaux, this video might not be for you, although I would like you to stick around because I kind of need some help. I've been trying to read through the rules, figure out how different models work. This is me kind of an open letter to the community saying, hey, I'm trying to get big into Malifaux. I may end up getting into it competitively because the community that I have around me is very cool, very casual, but I definitely want to get more and more into it. I may end up even getting Vassal and starting playing with like the Ontario group if that's still available. I'm not sure. I heard it was. If you guys know anywhere how I can get into that, that'd be great. But yeah, I'm playing 10 Thunders. I'm looking into all the Masters. I'll probably play all the Masters. I haven't really looked into Mei Fang, but Jacob Lynch, Misaki, Yanlo, all those guys. I've been looking into as much as I sort of can. But because I have Yanlo and Misaki, I've been focusing primarily on Misaki, just because I like her model and I like the way she plays. I've been trying to figure out a good way of sort of playing her. I played against a test game with her, and she went against Lady J, and Lady J just one-shot her with a red Joker for damage, and yeah, it was no good. It was no fun, but it happens. I understand that that's not going to happen every time, but obviously she doesn't really have a lot of like these hard-hitting abilities like Lady J and stuff like that. And I realize that she is a melee character and she uses the push mechanic to go from target to target. What will be the I didn't realize. I figured her out sort of slowly last night. I was looking through most of her upgrades. And it seems like, she synergizes really well once she's got like the disguised upgrade for two souls. It's expensive. It's 2 soul stones, but the fact is that you can't be charged, right, when you're disguised. And it seems to me like because she has so much push mechanic, you're going to basically force people to walk in base contact with you instead of charging you, which wastes an action, right? At least if they want to attack you, which I think is really nice, especially on your master. It'll definitely make it very difficult for them to get on you. But there's really not a very good. I don't think there's not a lot of good models that I could find that are like going to synergize with that very well, because I'm still going to try it. But I wanted to use Izamu, and I wanted to use Chikaki. I don't know, the niece chick from the Rezzers, because I think they work kind of good together when they synergize, because she can heal him and remove conditions off him, and she can keep him sort of alive with her. She only has a trigger heal, but it's still nice to be able to remove conditions to make sure that he gets to where he needs to go, and doesn't get like paralyzed and slowed and whatnot, so he can still make it to his targets, because he is only walk 4. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so I was looking into Yamaziko because I really think she's quite powerful for her soulstone cost. Her soulstone cost being 7, but she gets I think 8 wounds and like she's low defense but high willpower defense. So it's kind of like she has an extra walk action she can take, which is really nice, so she can get to where she needs to go quicker, so that her walk 4 makes up for her walk 4. And she also has, she has the Brace Diari, which is pretty damn impressive. It's a 0 cost that you can use, and until you're moved or pushed or activated again, or activate another ability, you get to you and all models within 3 inches of you that if they get charged, they take 4 damage. So that could be really cool because you can kind of walk up Yamazuko with Izamu next to each other with the niece behind, in the tail end behind, but staying safe away from them, and they won't be able to really charge you, which means they're going to be having to walk into you, which means you're not going to be caught kind of off guard with like a flurry or a multi-charged thing, because I think taking 4 damage for a charge, I wouldn't charge. That's crazy. 4 damage, that's like more damage than you can take, than you would take normally from most duels anyway. And it's just 4 damage. There's no condition. You just take 4 damage, which is pretty damn impressive. So as long as they stay within 3 inches of Yamazuko, you have like this kind of nice, defensive stance you can always be taking, and moving up to the target you need to go to. Now, I think this works sort of nice with the Torakage as well, because the Torakage, when he's within 3 inches of people, he's going to have, defenses to shooting and all that, so he's going to be a bit kind of a pain. He's already defense and willpower 6, which I think is pretty darn high for a minion. The fact that he's going to have even negative flips from shooting to Adam is just like a bonus, And I think because he has the rapid fire rule, it kind of makes sense for him to be just waiting to get charged. I mean, if you can just stand there and pop rapid fire and throw some poison conditions on somebody, that's kind of nice, right? I mean, like, even if you only do 2 or 3 damage, if you throw 3 poison counters on somebody, they either got to deal with that or they're probably going to die, because if you manage to get all 3 hits and you did like even just 1 damage per hit, that's still 6 damage, right? Like, that's going to kill most minions, which is pretty darn nice. Because the Torakage really doesn't do that much better in close combat, so it seems. And being able to push yourself around after you hit with each one of those hits can be really nice, because if you're doing your rapid fire and you can push 3 inches in any direction after you've hit, which in my opinion is much more powerful than if you get the trigger, but it still makes it much easier to pull off than being in close combat. Being able just to move and base around, that's not as useful in my opinion. I would much rather push away from somebody or to somebody or to an objective, whatever I'm trying to get to, or if I'm trying to get to another target that's too far away, you can use the trigger, push to get closer, then attack the guy that was farther away from you, which is really nice. There's really not much more to say, but it would be very, very. I think it'll be pretty synergistic. I mean, I'm also going to be taking Shang, and I think that's just to follow up behind Misaki, because my thought is to put Misaki and Shang on one side of my deployment and have them kind of move up the field together, and because she can heal them, and they got the chain activation going on, so they can do all kinds of nice stuff, and they should be able to hold their own just together. Now the only problem is if there's conditions and like lots of stuff like that, she's not going to have any way to get rid of them. But I think with 12 wounds and the healing from Shang, it should be fine. It's just a nice little bit of support from Shang, and if Shang needs to, he can fight. If he needs to. He's not bad in combat for a totem like most others are. He's actually fairly good in my opinion. The simple fact that you get an extra draw card is also really nice. So you should have a decent hand, hopefully. With disguised as well, you're not really going to get charged, so you can have Misaki move up sort of pretty aggressively, and you don't have to worry about their big enforcer or whatever charging you, because they're not going to be able to charge you, so they're going to have to walk, and then that's it if they want to be in base contact of you, provided you stay outside of their minimum, their walk plus reach distance of their attack. So I think that's a pretty good strategy. I don't know if that's what a lot of people are doing with Misaki, but it's something that I think I'm going to do with Misaki. I think it makes her much easier to use, because without it, I don't really understand the point. I mean, you have the next target trigger and you have the assassinate trigger. The assassinate trigger is only really possible if you get her down, if you use all your soul stones, which I don't think it's worth, burning all your soul stones just to get rid of. to help you get that. I'd rather just use soul stones to, plus flips and stuff when they're needed, or reduce damage when it's needed. And that's what I usually use my soul stones for. Normally, if I usually use my soul stones defensively opposed to offensively, but I guess it's going to depend on the situation and which game I'm playing and whatnot, so it's hard to say. But, what do you guys think of that? That would be the one side. On the other side, I'm going to have, again, Izamu, the Nice, a Torakage, and Yamazuko kind of move up the field together. I'm probably going to keep the Izamu in the front because he's got the nice, 2 armor. I'm going to put, Yamazuko sort of behind him, and then the Torakage sort of off to the side of him, so he may still be able to get cover because he's on a big base. I may spread them out 3 inches if there's blast weapons and stuff like that, but it's still, as long as I'm within 3 inches of Yamazuko, I can still get the bonus from Brace Diari. And then the Nice can kind of drag up the rear because she's going to be really far away. 2, she's going to have so much defense from shooting that shooting's not really a big problem. She's pretty much immune to the conditions as long as I'm within 6 inches of the Izamu, because she can remove all the conditions, put it on Izamu, then use her abilities to get rid of them off Izamu. So I think that's kind of a solid strat. I don't know, though. Again, I've only played a couple games and I've lost them both because I wasn't even really trying to think of synergistic crews. I was just kind of picking models to sort of see what they do. So now that I've seen what everything does, these are just the reason why I made the list this way, or the crew I'm going to build. It's kind of like an all-comers crew. I know you're not really supposed to do that. I understand that you're supposed to be building your crew for the task that's needed for the schemes that are going to be used. But let's be honest, I'm probably not going to be. I don't even know the schemes very well yet, so I think that this crew can probably pull off most of the schemes. I don't think it can do all of the schemes, but at least it can pull off most of them, right? I think out of a pool of 4, I should be able to pick 2 of them that are fairly doable. There's only a couple ones that I read that I don't think that I'd be able to easily do with this sort of crew. But the thing that kind of concerns me is that I guess it is just the way it is with 10 Thunders, but my crew seems much smaller than I thought it was going to be. 6 models, I was hoping to have maybe 8 or 9. Now, just because I don't want to be activated too heavily, because I seem like a pretty elite sort of crew. But, again, I don't know much about it, so any kind of feedback would be great. Anyone can post. That'd be awesome. I'm going to be going to a local store on Friday with a friend of mine to hopefully play a couple games against some experienced players, get some knowledge. Bringing along a friend with me who's interested in the game, and he's going to be picking up a starter crew. So I'm pretty excited about Friday. But that's really all I have to say about the 10 Thunders and what I've been sort of going with my strategy. I'm just kind of trying to get everything painted for Friday because it is only Tuesday. So I should be able to have my other 2 or 3 models painted by then. I don't actually own Yamazuko yet because I wasn't sure what she did. I like her model a lot. I just ended up buying a lot of stuff last time I was ordering stuff from the stores, so I'm gonna have to pick her up next time I'm there, which will be this Friday. So I can easily probably pick her up, put her together, and play with her when I get there. So that's kind of the plan. Now, I don't know if there's another model. I mean, I looked at the Samurai. I've looked at the chicks that have disguise. They could also work, I think, very well with my synergy. I could also use the undead samurai guys that have the brace ability as well. That could also brace for charging. But I think if I go too much disguise and too much bracing, that it's gonna. You kind of want them to charge, right? You kind of want them to make the mistake of charging. I mean, obviously, you don't want them to charge with their big bad crazy, Lady Justice or some other, big bad hitter that will kill you in one go. But you definitely want them to charge you with something that is like a minion or whatever, or at least force them to make the decision. Because what you could do if you're playing something like Squatter's Rights, for example, or something like that, you could always just sit up in the middle of the table and get pretty much outlast them. I mean, there's definitely some shooting that could definitely be troublesome for you, I think. But you could easily go to the middle of the table, go grab some of those markers, keep him away from those markers, and place him a little bit of denial there. Now, depending on the other schemes that are going on, hopefully I'm hoping that I can rely on Misaki to go and be my person to go move around and do whatever I also chose as another scheme. For example, if I need to do assassinate, hopefully I can use Yamazuko or Masaki to pull that off. If I'm doing bodyguard, I probably picked the niece for that because she'll be very difficult to kill. Just because she's in corporal, she's got like 6 wounds or 5 or 6 wounds. She's got manipulative 12, so as long as I don't activate her, which is very, very good in my opinion. It's very, very useful. It's going to be a very good thing to have, I think. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I think she'll be a very good bodyguard target to pick. Again, I don't know if there's someone better I could pick as a bodyguard. In my opinion, she's just the most durable, who's going to be typically in the safest position almost all the time. Because I'm going to be keeping her back probably 5 or 6 inches from the actual fighting. But the nice thing is, because she's also got the push away, like she has that ability to push everything within 4 inches away, 3 inches away, additional 4 inches away from where they were, which is really nice. So you could basically just push all models away that are within 6 inches of you, or I think it's 2 inches of you, I don't remember, 4 inches away, which is nice. So you can just, use your push, and then you can walk away a little bit, or you can move Yamazuko to help out, because she'll be able to walk 3 times and then brace her Yari next to the niece if she gets blindsided, for example, and then they won't be able to charge her. And if they do, well, then they're going to be taking 4 damage before they even get a chance to even test for the manipulate ability. So they're going to have to charge, take 4 damage, and have to pass a manipulate 12 test, which is not very hard to pass for most people, but it's still something you may have to cheat to pass, right? Which means they may just fail it, and then all of a sudden they just took 4 damage and accomplished nothing, which is really cool. I think it's a really nice defensive way to play. I think this crew can sort of adapt to many situations. I'm just not too sure what to do if Shang is still a good idea or not, because I will have extra soul stones with this sort of build. I will, I think, have 4 extra soul stones, 3 or 4, and then if I drop Shang, that I could essentially get back up to 7. I think 6 or 7. So I could always opt to take another Torakage. I might be able to squeeze in one of the 10 Thunder's archers, but I'm not too sure if that's the right decision. It might be the way I'm supposed to do. It might be a better way to go, but I don't really like the 10 Thunder. I have 3 of the 10 Thunder's archers because I think they look awesome. I'm going to try and make them fit into a list in the future, or into a crew that will be useful in the future. And they have done a bit of work in a test game I had played, but I just can't get over the whole 7 cost 5 wounds with defense 5 thing. Like, that just seems so hard to deal with. Like, it's just so many. I mean, it's not. I mean, I understand the shoot 6 with a 2-4-5 damage, or 2-3-4 damage, I think it is. And I think it's got like a 2-2-4 blast with the other ability that can ignore line of sight and stuff, which I understand. I understand it's got a lot of special rules for 7 points. Like, I mean, it can ignore line of sight with one of its shots. It's got rapid fire. It's got a really good shot. It's like it's a 6 shot, which is higher than most, which is up there with the master levels of shooting. It's he's got threading the needle, so he can shoot into engagements without having to randomize, which is also really, really nice. And he can ignore friendly models for determining line of sight purposes, which is also really, really nice. Yeah, it's very difficult to it's a difficult thing to do. It's a difficult decision to make, in my opinion. It's like 12-inch range is nice, but if he had a little bit more, I could be like, yeah, all right, he'd be worth it. Like, if he had like a 14-inch range, I could fully understand. You know what I mean? Now, I also did think of making a list where I would take like 2 or 3 of him, and then take like the undead samurai guys that can all brace. So I could basically just set up shop and force the people to come to me, and then they won't be able to charge. I'll be able to shoot them as much as possible before they get to me. But again, I don't know if that's always going to work out for every situation. It'd be a sort of a situational build. It seems like the 10 Thunders archers are more situational than everything. And I guess you could argue that everything is situational. But I look at things when I build, crews, armies, anything to do with miniature wargaming. I look at things for the most multi-purposed job. If they can't do more than one thing, I normally don't bother taking it. And the 10 Thunders archers seems like all they can really do is shoot. They really can't do anything other than that. Which is I understand it. I think they're cool models. I think I'm going to use them for sure. I don't think they're bad. I just think that, when I look at the cost for 7 points for a 10 Thunders archer, and then I look at the cost of Yamazuko for 7, and then the cost of Izumu for 10, I'm like, how do they justify seven soulstones? And I guess it's because of all those different rules it ignores. And I get it, but I don't really see a lot of people using the 10 Thunders archers effectively in many battle reports and many tactic videos or anything like that. So I haven't seen them. Maybe it's because they're not popular, I don't know. But they don't really synergize with a lot of the army very well, in my opinion, either, because the only thing that I could find that would be nice would be if you take Ototo and you take the 10 Thunders archers and you give the slow condition out to people. It'd be nice because now all of a sudden Ototo gets +2 damage when you take Call to Thunder, I think it's called, upgrade, which could be useful, and that could synergize nicely. So you could have Ototo kind of like hanging out, waiting for people to get slow conditions on them, and then moving up to them, charging them, and just smacking them dead like one shot. Because you can essentially get crit and that +2 damage. So you can get really like crit that does +3 damage, and that's pretty damn scary. Especially since you could it's going to do like 2 + 3, so you're going to be doing 5 damage to somebody, even if you do weak damage, which is a lot of damage. That's like most severe damage. That's a lot. So I mean, it might be a good way of getting rid of a master or something like that. And having the slow condition on people is actually really nice because they're going to take longer and longer to get to you because they're not going to be able to spend as many APs to move closer, and also they won't be able to get as many objectives if it's an objective-based game for like squatters' rights or something like that. They won't be able to activate to interact very easily. So I think it's a really cool idea. Like, I think it's a really cool faction. I like the way a lot of models work on their own. I just haven't really figured out some good combinations and synergizes well with the entire sort of 10 Thunders range. Now, I understand that like the 10 Thunders, there's so many options, right? Like I guess it's not really exactly a beginner faction, because there's literally like you can cross faction between all kinds of stuff and make all kinds of different things work. And I don't think there's one right way to play 10 Thunders. But I wanted just to sort of put this sort of scheme out there, sort of this plan out there, and see what people thought. I'm wondering if this is like sort of a good idea. And I was kind of just finding these little bits of information sort of as I've been going. I know that there's the Torakage, and then there's like a smoke screen thing you can do with them, I think, to make them switch with Misaki or whatever. I don't know if that's true. I haven't really looked that far into it. So maybe that's another strategy that might be useful doing, which could be cool. But I'm not too sure. I think you have to be within a certain range for that to work anyway. I don't think that's my plan, so it's hard to really say. But yeah, that's basically all I really had to say about my 10 Thunders and what I'm going to be doing with them. I've also thought about taking Ototo with the 10 Thunders archer instead of Yamazuko and the Torakage, but I don't know if that's really worth it, because then it maxes me out and I can't even take the disguised upgrade on Misaki, and then all of a sudden I don't know how to even really use Misaki without that ability. Like, I'm not sure how she's going to be useful in my crew without that. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, really. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thanks for listening. This is going to be my first Malifaux Monday video. I'm going to be doing probably one of these weekly for you guys, and it's more or less just going to be a place to chat about Malifaux. hopefully a learning place for new players and a learning place for me as well, because I haven't really found too many good places that I can go to learn all about things tactical with Malifaux. There's lots of like how-to videos, how to play. There's lots of like there's a few battle reports, not a lot, but there's not a lot that goes into depth about how to use some of the models. And since tactics are sort of my thing, I love to sit and chat, with a cigar and a glass of whiskey with people and see what we can come up with by going over some of these cards and help me sort of better understand the game a little bit. So please, if you like the video, please like it and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. It means a lot to me. If you're new to my channel, I just started out doing this a little while ago. I do these on my way to work and on my way home from work, so I apologize again. The video quality, the recording quality is not as good as it could be, but it's passable, I suppose. So yeah, have a great day, guys, and happy Malifauing until then.